Welcome to Best of Both Worlds with Linda V. Taylor. We have a very, very special show today. Later on in the show, I'm going to be working on a broken star quilt. But first, you have to see this, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, we are so excited to be here at the Gammill Long Arm Summit in Snowbird, Utah. First time we have had a live audience. We've had so much fun. I want to introduce you to some of the Gammill folks here. We have Michelle Weaver, she's the owner. We have Karen Marchetti, teacher. We have Georgia Stoll, teacher. Jody Robertson, teacher. We have Christine Perigo. We have Karen Farrsworth, Lisa Rogers, and we have Shandy Brinkman, who is the education director, right? And we have Holly Zuber, who is just, I don't know what she's she's just been everywhere, so she's really an important person here. And then we have Dwayne Karen, who is the overall the service and maintenance, and boy, we really appreciate you. So this was a really fun group, and I'm going to let Rick pan the audience really quick, just so you can see the rest of the fun group, and they're so lovely, lovely. We owe all of this fun and comradeship and friendship and smiles to Michelle Weaver. And so I wanted her to say a word.
Well, I don't think you owe it all to me. We have to remember Ken Gammill. We have to remember Paul Statler, right? We have to remember all of the other people in Gammill who've been there, who've kept us together for the last 30 years, including Linda and her husband Rick, who helps with the filming, who's been so instrumental in Gammill in the past and continuing into today with the Best of Both Worlds episodes. We're so excited to have you here at Summit, to be filming this Best of Both Worlds episode here live with our audience. It's just going to be wonderful. It's been wonderful all week, and this is just going to top it all off.
Thank you. Live audience, can we do this all the time? Okay. We are so fortunate to have some of the teachers here, and they're going to show us some of the things that they did. And Karen Farnsworth has been teaching quite a while, right?
I have, yes.
How long?
About 9 or 10 years. I actually can't keep track.
I think she pretty well knows what she's doing. So tell us what you did here at the summit.
We had, obviously, we had a lot of great classes. We're not even finished yet, so we're still kind of in the middle of things. But I taught several classes on different features in Creative Studio. And one of my favorite classes that I taught was on the text feature in Creative Studio. And this was one of the samples that I had for my class that my son made, just to demonstrate how easy it is to use the text feature in Creative Studio to add words to a quilt. My son made this when he was about 12, and in our class we talked about adding text like this, adding these phrases, creating quilt labels. I think you've done that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, add quilt labels.
And I just saved the customer's name in the computer, so it's always there,
right? Text feature is really, it's very easy and it's fun. We talked about doing that and customizing edge-to-edge patterns, putting names in a pattern so you can customize a pattern for a customer or make a really special gift. So text feature, check
I
it
think
out.
that it totally personalizes the quilt. So that is so awesome.
And that was just one of the many awesome classes that we got to work with today. So
Thank you so much, Karen. My next special guest is Karen Marchetti. And we're so excited. She's actually going to sew something for us and tell her about this special tool that she taught.
Yeah, I demoed it here.
Uh-huh.
This wasn't a hands-on class. This was actually a lecture class.
Okay.
Mostly inspiration. So I brought a little inspiration to share, and I'm going to use it's called an innie outie OG.
Innie outie OG?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has an innie and it has an outie, and you'll see when we get to the machine.
Okay.
But it does this really cool shape. So we'll stitch one out.
Okay.
Fill it in. Have some fun.
Let's do it.
All right. This is
And we have the ruler base on
yes.
because you really need that flat surface.
Oh yeah, you don't want to try to quilt without the roller base.
I've tried.
All right, we'll start stitching on this.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to hold this with my one hand and stitch down.
Okay.
This is the innie of the ruler. Get that straight.
That just fits right in the foot.
Yeah. I will flip this ruler around, and I'm going to come back up the other side for the other half.
Okay.
Oh. I keep all my hands out everybody's way. There we go. So that is the inside shape.
That's very pretty.
Move
Looks
this-
like a Christmas ornament.
Yeah, yeah, it does. This, what I just stitched is actually, it's the innie of the ruler,
Uh-huh.
but it's the outside of the design.
Okay.
So when I flip the ruler to this side, and I line up my centers, and then I'm going to bring this down, and this becomes, it's the outie of the ruler, but the innie of the design.
Cool.
And I stop there, flip it around again. I should say, I'm ambidextrous. So Ambi. So it actually helps with this kind of roller if you can stitch with both hands.
Mm-hmm.
So then I stop there, and I can move the ruler out of the way, and I can freehand in there. I could fill. I'll just add a couple little feathers. Couple little feathers. Fill it back center.
Oh, that's a very pretty
One
design.
more. And then I'll come down here and just tie off our thread.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you think? Yes. Thank you so much, Karen, for being on the show and for showing us off on your little tool. I love it.
Thank you very much for calling me over here and letting me be part of it.
All right. Good. Our third guest today. I can't believe I have 3 guests on one show. It's amazing. Jody Robertson. She's been on the show before, and welcome, Jody.
Thank you.
So have you had a good time at
I
Summit?
have.
Are
Great
these
classes.
people the best?
They are
people
the
in
best.
world? Oh, my best friends. Awesome. So what are you going to show us today?
So I'm just going to share a design from a new class I'm doing called Grid Work Reimagined.
A new class.
Just kind
Grid
of-
Work Reimagined.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay. What I've been doing is playing around with grids and kind of coming up with different things that you
Mhm.
can do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is mark 2 stencils. And I'm going to mark this one. I'm just going to do a little part, or it'll take a long time to stitch. So I'm just going to mark a little bit of that wavy one
And this is just with the chalk.
with a pounce pen.
Okay. Okay.
Just put that over there, and let me just mark some lines over top.
Ah, so then they're completely different, really.
Mhm.
Curvy, and then this one's straight.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That should be good. Oh, it's a little. So you can see that it's made these weird grid shapes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to stitch
I love them.
those.
I like weird stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, mostly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a figure 8. So what I mean by that is each of these weird shaped little things, I'm just going to stitch them and follow whatever that strange shape is that the 2 stencils together made. And then I zip 8, like a figure 8, I go back and close them all in.
You're
If
so
they
accurate.
don't perfectly match, it really doesn't matter, because I think it actually makes them look better because they're, I guess, organic.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say it looks
If
like
you just
stones.
keep going, it really, yeah, they're like cobblestones.
Yeah.
So it's something that really would be cool if you had like a house quilt or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's keep doing that. The other thing it kind of could look like is alligator skin.
Alligator
So
skin.
it's-
Is that like my arm? No.
And mine too in Utah.
That is awesome, using the 2 stencils. Good for you. We just keep getting better, don't we?
We try.
Yes. That was really awesome. Using the 2 stencils and a new creative technique. Just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
And so much fun.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. Now it's time for me to show you how I finished this quilt. Most of it is freehand, only the outside border is computerized. So let's get started. The first thing I did with this little wall hanging is stitch in the ditch around the star and around everywhere on the star and in between the borders. And then I put the outer border in. I still have 1 border left so I can show you how I did that. And now I'm going to do freehand in the darker areas, and then I'll show you how I do the light. I have dropped the belts on this machine so that I can do this freehand. And you can try it without, but you just have a little more freedom. Now remember that this is my halfway point, so I'm going to do a pinwheel right here, in and all the way out. And now I'm doing U's. U, U. Don't think half circle here. I think you better think of a U because a half circle might not be quite enough. And you're just going to keep doing it. Try to keep them as even as you can. Actually really kind of fun to do. U. And we're going to continue to do this clear up to the corner. U. Now I stopped right there, and I could have stopped over here on this side. It wouldn't make any difference. But I did stop there. Now I'm going to do a U the other direction, this way. U. And that made that beautiful design in the corner for me. I didn't even have to think about it. Probably would have this a little closer to me if I weren't filming to make sure I get right in that ditch. And you wouldn't have to go this fast, but it seems like it's easier if you do. There we go. And I'm coming to that pinwheel that's in the middle of this one. One more, and I'm going to stop right there. And I've already done the pinwheel in the middle right there. So that just looks so good on both sides, and the corners are done. Now I have a little design in here. I would just want to show you this quick and simple design. I'm just dragging my thread over here. I know I'll have to have a little bit that I'll have to cut there, but I'm just going to start here, and all I'm doing is kind of a loop. Loop one way, and then I do a loop the other way. This little border just needs something, but doesn't need a really fancy design, but I don't want to leave it empty. So it's easy to do these little loops, just one way and then the other way. There you go, till I run out of space. Then I can roll up and finish that. So how fast and easy that was to complete those 2 little borders. I thought in this star it'd be really fun to do a feathered flower. So I want to show you how you do that freehand. There's also computerized design that you can use. But I'm using this star as these are pairs, so they're going to face each other. So when I come up, I'm going to do the loop this way, and when I come up on this one, I'm going to do the loop that way. And it's going to be done with all one kind of motion, so hang on everybody, here we go. So this one comes up and turns this way, and I just reach out with my feathers to the edge of the diamond, like that. It's so cool because you can reach clear out into that point and then just continue with those feathers, just a half of a teardrop, like that, till you get all the way down. Now we'll do it over here. I'm sure you can see it better over here. You can see, in fact, I'm going to come clear down there. These don't have to be exactly alike, but they're going to be really close. Over here, clear up there. And then as we come down like this, just reach out into those areas. Don't worry about those feathers being right together. If you have space in between your feathers, it is perfectly fine. Or even if you went over on top of one, it's perfectly fine. Don't worry about being completely perfect. I am so excited about this feature, and I use it as often as I can. I am using the Elevate, and it has toggle switches, and many of the hand-guided Gammills have toggle switches. So if you have that switch, then you have the ability to have anything that you want on those toggles, like this C and D, this is my right hand, A and B is my left. Right now it's stop and start on both of these, and it's single stitch on both of this side. But I'm going to change this one to the horizontal channel lock. Horizontal channel lock. In these areas and in these areas, I decided to do a Peacock Fern. And so I want to show you how I do that. And by the way, this part, I would use my vertical channel lock and come along like that when I finish that part. So now I'm going to be in constant again. So I'll just reach up here, put that in constant. First thing I'm going to do is come in like this and make a teardrop and then echo it. And then I will start making my fern like this, just half circles and back down to the stem. Half circle. Now this time I really need to reach up into that area and come back down. It's kind of an S motion. If you practice it, I know you can do it. And then I come up on this side, over, over, and I'll come back down. And then I'll come up, and I really need, again, to finish this area up here, and then come down, and then start this S motion. And you can go right on top of yourself like that. Isn't that fun? That really makes it actually more realistic, I think. That went really fast. I decided I could just use, I could do this triangle and this corner together, and so I want to show you what I'm going to do. As I come around here, I want to kind of come in a little bit of a loop there, so I'll take a couple of stitches here. Come over here like this, and I want to end up sort of in the middle of that. So there I am. Now I'm going to do a teardrop here and a teardrop there. And you could draw this on. I just sort of have it in my mind, but I totally understand. Drawing on is you know, if you want to do it freehand, real easy thing to do. So I'm going to do the top part first. And that means that I'm going to come up here like this. Kind of do that little extra loop over here like this, and one more, And then I'm coming in here and I'm doing a texture dot in each of these. And then I'll continue as I come around, doing the formal feather. And as I'm up here, I think it's easier for me to just kind of start in again to do. Okay, as I'm coming around, I'm going to make these shorter and just kind of come into the center here like that. And then I'm going to come around, make this a double line and come back to this area right here. Now on this one, I'm doing something a little bit different. I think it's kind of fun. As I come around here, that's halfway, and then come back. Now I'm going to do a short one, and then another one that doesn't come all the way up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then come back. Then another short one. 2, 3, and 4. And now I can fill in. And these are going to really kind of reach out and fill in the entire area. I'm in constant, so I'm going really fast, but when you come back and go around that head, I'm sure you can make it really close and really beautiful. And I'll just keep coming like this, and then fill in right here. There I go. I'll do the same thing on the other side. This is going to be an easy one because I have seams here for kind of my reference line. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a big teardrop up to the middle and then back. And then I'll come up in the middle and I'll make a texture dot like that where I just, and then up here like this. And I'm going to come over, come around with a little mustache and then back like that. And over with a little mustache. Do you see that little mustache? And back. And I'm putting these, just these lines in here as I'm going. Over. And back. So it's like a heart shape, actually, that I'm doing above each one of these. And this is kind of the last time probably I'll get around. Now I'll have to follow the side. I'm putting those lines in, kind of stems. And I can put a feather in there like that. Then I could come over here and I could do another one here at the top. And here, lines and lines in here. I like what that did. It just, from the middle, these lines especially, pulled that out. And it looks great. And you could do that in regulated, slow yourself down a little bit and be very careful with your backtracking on the tips of those feathers. All of us have trouble with that. In this little feather, I'm just coming up a little ways like that, maybe a third. And then again, I'm coming over and making the little mustaches and coming back with my heart shape. Over. And then back like that. Now in this last one that I'm going to come over and do, I'm going to echo. So I'm going to come all the way over like this, and then I'm going to echo on my way back, like that. Come over here and do the same thing. But as I come to the top of this one, I'm just going to make a little teardrop there, just to add and fill in that little space. There we go. I like the texture of that. Okay, I'm going to put the last border in, and it was a pattern that I used, so I'm going to just go into patterns, and it's just this one pattern. I already have the corner in. I'm going to add the points, and all I have to do is I'm just going right to where I had started stitching or ended stitching there. And my belts are back on, of course, on the machine. Go right over to that point, add, come up. I'm staying about a 1/4 inch at least away from the edge because of the binding that I will be doing. There we go. And this is the pattern that I'm using. It's called Rick's Song Feather Border, and there was the corner, and it worked out so beautifully. So I'm going to touch that. Yes, that's the one I want to use. Now it's putting in quite a few of these. For this small of a wall hanging, I only used 4, so I'm going to edit. And I'm only going to put 4 repeats in here so it'll match everything else. And also it's, I need to flip it upside down. So I'm going to flip, and this would be, right there we go, perfect. And I'm ready to sew. So I'm going to put yes, let's start. Okay, it took a stitch exactly where that corner ended, that pattern of the corner ended, just like I had touched it. And so I'll push continue, and it's taking its little stitches here. It's going to start and sew across here. So this will be fun. That is just a gorgeous pattern, and I can tell you, for me, that's worth waiting for. This was the funnest program ever with the Gammill family and a live audience and 3 guests on one show, plus a project. I'm so on cloud 9. Thank you so much for watching, but keep watching because we have some more special clips right now. Thanks again.